gates of Eden had closed with a thunderous finality, and the echoes of that moment lingered in the hearts of Adam and Eve. To them, the earth beyond the garden was foreign and unknown, an ominous realm now covered by the veil of sin. With each step, the ground beneath their feet felt heavier, as if the weight of their choice pressed down upon the soil itself. Yet even amidst their exile, they carried within them the spark of life, the promise of a lineage that might one day heal the breach between man and his maker. Adam knew his wife Eve, and in time she bore him a son. They called him Cain, for he was the fruit of their labor and the firstborn of mankind. Later, another son was born, whom they named Abel. The brothers grew side by side, Cain, a tiller of the ground hardened by the soil's resistance, and Abel, a keeper of sheep, whose heart was light and filled with devotion. As the years passed, the brothers came to present their offerings before the Lord. Cain brought forth the fruits of his labor, the yield of the fields, and placed them upon his altar. Yet his offering lacked what the Lord had required since the fall of their parents, a sacrifice of blood. For without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sin. Cain, in his pride, thought to offer the work of his hands instead of humbling himself before the Lord's command. Abel, with reverence and faith, brought the firstborn of his flock, offering their fat portions as the Lord had decreed. The aroma of Abel's sacrifice rose pleasingly to heaven, for it was given in obedience and trust. But Cain's offering was not regarded, for it defied the covenant of atonement established by God himself. A shadow fell over Cain's face, and envy stirred within him like a serpent coiled to strike. The Lord in his mercy spoke to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why is your face downcast? If you do well, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it." Yet Cain hardened his heart further, refusing to heed the Lord's rebuke. One fateful day, Cain spoke to Abel, saying,
"Come, let us go out to the field."
And Abel, ever trusting and unaware of his brother's turmoil, followed him. The sun hung high, casting long shadows over the barren expanse. The brothers stood alone, the wind whispering through the grass, carrying with it a heavy foreboding. Then, in an act as sudden as it was brutal, Cain struck Abel. Wrath and jealousy, nurtured in silence, burst forth in violence. The innocent blood of Abel seeped into the earth, staining the soil and crying out to the heavens. Thus, the first murder was wrought, and the bond of brotherhood was shattered. The Lord called to Cain, saying, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain replied,
"I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?"
But the Lord, whose eyes pierced the soul, said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." Cain, struck by the weight of his judgment, cried out,
"My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me from the face of the ground, and from your presence I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me."
Yet even in judgment, the Lord's mercy endured. He said, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, a sign of protection amidst his exile. Thus Cain departed from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. The story of Cain and Abel stands as a solemn reminder of the power of choice and the shadow of sin. Abel's life, though struck down, became a testimony to faith and righteousness, while Cain bore the burden of guilt and exile. His defiance against the Lord's commandment revealed the cost of pride and disobedience. Yet the mercy of the Lord lingered even in judgment, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. For through the generations, the promise of redemption would remain, a blood sacrifice that would one day atone for the sins of all mankind. And so, the earth turned, bearing the memory of these brothers, their story echoing through the ages as a harbinger of mankind's struggles and the hope of salvation. Thank you for joining us in the Bible Multiverse, where we seek truth line upon line, precept upon precept. If these stories stirred your spirit, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Many more truths await those who join the journey with us.